Yesterday, we started working with finding zeros and finding y-intercept in factored form. Today, we're going to continue that process. Our big difference, as you can see in this first example, is that we have a negative sign in front, or in some cases, as you'll see from some of the other examples, there's a coefficient or number out front. So we'll continue with getting that practice to see how that works. Now, if you remember from yesterday, to find our zeros, we're going to take each binomial and we're going to set it equal to 0 and solve it, and then we'll put our answers in an ordered pair. So according to our zero product property, x minus 3 equals 0, which means if we add 3 to both sides, we get x equals 3, which means that my ordered pair is 3, 0. Or we have that x plus 3 equals 0, which then we subtract 3. 0 minus 3 is negative 3, so we get x equals negative 3, which means my other 0 is negative 3, 0. And then finally, y-intercept is where x is equal to 0, so we substitute it in and we get y is equal to the negative of 0 minus 3 times 0 plus 3, which means I have a negative of negative 3 times 3. And if you recall, that negative out front means like we're multiplying by negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 3 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9, which means that my y-intercept is 0, 9. Moving on to the next example, we have here that according to our zero product property, either x minus 5 equals 0 or x plus 2 equals 0. So if we solve the first one, we add 5 to both sides. That gives us x equals 5, which means one of my zeros, or x-intercepts, is 5, 0. And over here, we subtract 2 from both sides, which gives us x equals negative 2. So my other x-intercept, or 0, is negative 2, 0. These are also called, I'm going to write these down so you have them, roots or x-intercepts, just so you have all those names. For y-intercept, we have y equals 3 times 0 minus 5 times 0 plus 2, which gives us 3 times negative 5 times 2. 3 times negative 5 is negative 15, times 2 is negative 30, which means that my y-intercept is at 0, negative 30. I want you to go ahead and try example C. Hit pause on the video while you do that, and then press play to check your answer. Going ahead and looking at this, we have that either, according to our zero product property, either x minus 1 equals 0, or we have that x minus 6 equals 0. Solving the first one, we add 1 to both sides, giving me x equals 1, which means that one of my roots is 1, 0. Solving the other one, I add 6 to both sides, and that gives me x is equal to 6, which means my other root, or x-intercept, is 6, 0. And then for my y-intercept, putting 0 for x, we get 2 times 0 minus 1 times 0 minus 6, which gives me 2 times negative 1 times negative 6. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2, times negative 6 is equal to positive 12. Therefore, my y-intercept is 0, 12. Finally, this last one is a little bit different just because we have those that fraction in there. So for our x-intercepts, we have that x minus 3 equals 0, or we have that x plus 4 equals 0. Solving these, we first add 3 to both sides, giving me x equals 3, so therefore my x-intercept for 0 is 3, 0. And here we subtract 4 from both sides, giving me x is equal to negative 4, which means my other root is negative 4, 0. And then for y-intercept, we put in y equals negative 1/2 times 0 minus 3 times 0 plus 4, which means that I have negative 1/2 times negative 3 times 4. Now I could take half of 3, but then that gets really messy. I'd rather actually go ahead and say negative 1/2 times positive 4. We know it's negative, and half of 4 is 2. So now we got negative 2 times negative 3, which gives me positive 6, meaning that my y-intercept is 0, 6. Your job now is to go ahead and complete this U-Try problem. Fill out your Google form, don't forget that, and make sure you bring any questions with you to class tomorrow.